We warned y'all last week. Spider-Man: Homecoming spoiler talk. I think we've all seen it here, so we're gonna jump on that.
I walked out of the movie going, you know what? It was all right. It was exactly when I say average and matinee, I don't mean that there's anything bad with it, because I was telling people I think this movie is flawless. I don't think there's a single bad thing in the movie. There's not a single point in the movie where I'm like, that is stupid, that makes no sense, or why the fuck is this here? Like in every of the other Spider-Man movies. But there's also nothing that blew me away, and that's kind of something that disappointed me a little bit, because there's no when you look at the other Spider-Man movies, there's some big, crazy scene that you remember. Spider-Man 2 has a train sequence. You have the Sandman sequences in Spider-Man 3. This, to me, didn't have anything that really stood out to me as, holy crap, this is so memorable. It's more like, you got it, average, and it was really good, but it didn't blow me away.
Alan, just a quick question, because I haven't seen Spider-Man: Homecoming, but I don't really give a shit about spoilers. But do you feel like you only feel that way because of the oversaturation of Spider-Man? Because of
I grew up watching the television shows and playing the games. So what I got there, I really enjoyed, and I like Spider-Man for the most part. In the movies, I do expect a little more oomph than in the games, because in the games you fight a lot of henchmen, and there's really not much action. Like the action scenes in here are spectacle action. The shit exploding, him jumping off stuff. He's not really fighting anybody in this movie, and that's kind of something I wish I saw in the movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I felt the same way. And I feel like the CGI was bad. I feel a few things are bad. But, man, I'm just going to start off with this, a huge spoiler, though. But, I fucking love what they did with Liz and the Vulture. I thought that was really, really... At first, I was mad. I even messaged Allie in the call. I was like, man, this is some fucking bullshit. This shit's stupid. But watching it again, because I watched it twice. And I don't watch new comic book movies twice. I'm like, once, fuck the stupid-ass shit. But that was really, really cool. And, God, the Vulture is such a great, scary dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't like that, because as soon as that happened, I was like, oh shit. But then I'm like, seriously, we're doing this again, where every single person Spider-Man knows is related to other people that he knows. This is like the whole Star Wars thing of everybody that Peter Parker knows is either a bad guy or gonna die.
But that's what that's Spider-Man comics. That's
always my problem with this character.
Yeah, true, but if you're a fan of Spider-Man, I don't know if you count yourself as a fan of Spider-Man, but that's something that you need to be prepared for, because that's like me saying oh, I hate The Walking Dead for what they do in the comic. Dude, the comic, they had to bring in Negan, they had to kill this character, this Asian character, they had to do it. It's gonna happen.
I know, but it's just I would have been fine if it was just a random dude that was just because Spider-Man was fucking with him, because the Vulture's not a villain in this. He's kind of a he's not a good guy, but the only reason he does half the shit he does is because Spider-Man starts fucking with him.
He's a hero for the military.
Iron Man specifically.
Well, no. If Iron Man would have known if Spider-Man wasn't fucking with Vulture, that's the only reason any of the movie happens.
Yeah. No, what was the other villains? Because I remember it was pictures of Shocker. So was Shocker actually in this? Or
yeah, Shocker's in it, but it's every villain there, you blink and they're gone.
Damn.
This is just a Vulture,
Well, I think it's the problem that they didn't want to do what all the Spider-Man movies have done so far, where they're like, oh, we got to have 3 or 4 main villains as part of the plot. So it's okay, we get a little bit of Shocker. We get the Tinkerer, who we don't even call the Tinkerer at any point in this movie, but that's what he is.
Bad. It's
and then it's just the Vulture. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but okay, one thing I want to bring up really quick, because this is a big thing that everyone keeps saying. It's Iron Man's a bad guy. Here's the frustrating thing about this fucking movie that I really couldn't stand, is literally, you had the Vulture starting off the movie where he's in this fucking room, just putting in, just junk everywhere. Just we're doing things, obviously, because there's a bunch of junk in the fucking house.
Sure.
The whole warehouse. And then some lady comes out, don't know her name, comes out there totally saying we gotta take all this shit because we're the bad guy, obviously, the whole fucking thing. So she's leaving, and the only thing they do to tell the big story that it's all Tony Stark's fault is a picture of the man on a fucking TV screen or whatever, showing, oh, it's Tony Stark, something. And I was like, okay, granted, you told me the story, but you did it in literally 3 seconds. Other than that, there's no reason for him to be the villain except for the fucking screen literally telling you Tony Stark is the bad guy, and that's it. And that is some awful garbage ass storytelling to do this shit before the Marvel logo even comes up. That was amazing.
I don't agree with that. That's effective storytelling. It's economic. It's just okay, Tony Stark is not the main villain, but he gets the plot going because he's the inciting event of the story. So that's why I see that.
And I agree with that. But it's a quick jump from I'm a disgruntled construction worker to fuck it, I'm just gonna rob people with a flying thing of.
Well, I think when it comes to the terms of his technology and how quickly he came to use it, and it seemed like he was professional. They should have probably showed maybe a successful heist that his crew pulls off, maybe a quick 2-3 minute thing that would give you more of a concept. Oh, they got this down pat. But like in the terms of like not hinting to it, like during that conversation with the U.S. official, he says that a lot of these guys got out of prison, so it shows that he has connections to some people, considered in the criminal underworld, quote unquote, that were trying to go straight, and he was trying to help these people out.
I take it with Tony Stark being like the villain, that's how it is in real life too. Like these huge corporations, they'll screw over the little man like all the time, So it's not really anything new. It's kind of familiar in a way that, like, these people really don't really think that much about people that are directly affected by this. That they're not so of great esteem or have high up positions in a company. So I think that's very realistic. That Tony Stark, his company, not Tony Stark himself necessarily, but like his company would be like, yeah, you can't do this anymore. And he's like, hey man, I gotta support my family. I gotta support all these guys. And they were trying to, like Ganja said, trying to get straight, have a good life. I see that happening. Like I definitely would see that happening in real life. So I think it's actually like in Tony Stark, he's not necessarily always a good guy anyway. Like he's done some really terrible things that, because he's so charismatic, he gets away with it. But like anyone else, everyone would freaking hate Iron Man, So I like it goes with his character. That's kind of how he has been portrayed before in this universe. So it's not really anything new. Like you kind of expect it with his company. But like the Vulture, I thought he was a really good villain. I was really pleasantly surprised, especially because Marvel has just not had really good villain, like really memorable, really like villains with a lot of depth in the past. The only people I can really think of is like Zemo from Civil War or Loki. But like the Vulture's definitely really up there. Like I remember his character. Michael Keaton did a great job. And it really added something, like another layer with him. Like, first of all, you really do sympathize because, like, he's trying to, have an honest job, and like it's all that's been taken away. And like you said, he has to support his family. He doesn't know what to do. So you instantly sympathize with this guy. You can see he's not a terrible human being.
It shows that Tony Stark, what they've been doing with Robert Downey Jr., just Iron Man, has been really good fucking character development all the way through from the Marvel Universe, because like just hearing that, like how he's kind of like the villain of this movie, pretty much getting Vulture to do his thing, it always shows you that Iron Man is like, Tony Stark is always trying to do the good thing but not go about it the best intentions, and always fucking people over by doing it, like you said with the Vulture. And it's kind of funny, it adds an interesting dynamic because it's like trying to tell through the trailers, he's trying to tell Spider-Man to not clean up a mess that he actually caused. And like I said, it goes back to shades of Iron Man 1, where it's just like, oh yeah, I made my own problem, like just weapons and stuff like that. Or fucking like goes back to Ultron. It's just like, or Civil War. Like he's always trying to like solve these problems, but he's not always going about it the best way. So in a sense, that makes him a bad guy, just because he always has the right intentions but fucks up. So I like that. I love how they're building Iron Man in this fucking universe.
So one thing I'm going to add in is the whole MJ thing. She's Mary Jane. Now,
Fuck that.
So why are you against that? I'm so curious because
I'm not against Zendaya being MJ. I just was really pissed off by that because it was the same thing when people were talking about I forget the movie, we referenced it earlier when they were like, oh, he's not Khan, he's not Khan, he's not Khan.
Yeah, Star Trek.
Star Trek Into the Darkness. I didn't know the last part. So I felt like this was just another one that all the fans figured out, and they just did it in a way that was like very cheesy.
Yeah.
And to me, it felt like it kind of hurt the movie to my degree. I still gave it better than Sex, but that was one of the movies kind of like when they did a few times when they went like, oh, just be a neighborhood-friendly Spider-Man. They did that. I felt a little too much, and I felt like that was up there with that. It just felt unnecessary. Like, I feel like if they would have just said, oh, my middle name is Mary, and just had her like get a package or a mail, and we could all just freaked out over that. But the fact that she did it as a kind of a weird reveal, I didn't appreciate it.
I'm the opposite. I kind of like that because it's just like I didn't really go through the whole movie, the reveal. I didn't go through the whole movie. Go, oh, is that Mary Jane? I'm like, I don't really care. I'm kind of like interested. I'm like, oh, they're gonna go somewhere different. And then it's like, oh, by the way, my name is MJ. I'm like, you're Mary Jane? Okay, I guess you are.
Well, that's the thing. You're not like we even talked about this in that. I think it was in the viewing party for Anime Night. You weren't a big fan of Spider-Man growing up. as well,
I
right?
was more of a fan of the television show and video games. I watched the movies, but I didn't love the movies like everyone else.
I've noticed a lot of people that are hardcore fans, and I hate to put myself in that category, but I am when it comes to Spider-Man. Like, I had a conversation in a bathroom with a random person over Spider-Man one time. So I'm just that dude. So, like, when they did that, in my whole head, I'm like, okay, who's MJ? Who's MJ? Who's MJ? Is it this girl? Is it that girl? Okay, it's probably Zendaya. And I'm just waiting the whole time for the reveal, and the reveal was just very lackluster to me. Like, I kind of want it to be a little bit more either tongue-in-cheek or a little bit more of an amazing reveal. Like, he just figures out of nowhere.
You know what would have been cool?
I wanted more personality.
Gotcha. You know what would have been cool? Like a nice reveal instead of saying the whole MJ. What if MJ actually said, "Go get him, Tiger"? Like that would have been actually badass.
Actually, yeah, I agree with that. That would
have went too, but that also has a risk of being cheesy.
True.
No, because think about it, like Aja, like if we're talking specifically, like which is like, oh, why are you going to the bathroom? And instead of saying, oh, my friends call me MJ, just be like, oh, go get him, Tiger. Like as a, get the fuck out of here.
A gay euphemism as well. Yeah, that could work.
And I hate to say this too, but Ned, look, it's not an age thing.
Ned.
Really
I don't hate him as much as you do, though.
That fucking fat, dumb motherfucker. Like, I hate that annoying. Every scene he's on, he is annoying as fuck. Like, I watched it again. I had to skip all those scenes. It's like cringeworthy. Like, my fucking fingers curl up.
No, because I had a buddy of mine that was just like that. So he kind of reminded me of a friend of mine.
You're scaring Alex Byrne, man. Come on. Racism.
No, I get what you mean. Like the kid kind of like was doing that typical like, oh, I'm gonna, he did the whole almost every single fat kid stereotype except for the fact that he was eating all the time. That's the only stereotype they didn't put in.
Dude, thank God I didn't do that.
No, dude, the only next was that chipmunk fucking thing where like the fat chipmunk was like, sorry, like that kind of shit. That's all we needed next.
Yeah, but I like what it's like. He knows that he's Spider-Man, and his first question is, dude, what the fuck can you do? I'm asking the same fucking thing. Yeah. Oh, you're fucking Spider-Man, man? Okay, I'm gonna test this shit out. I'm gonna do experiments, man. Let's see how far your webs go. Like, oh, man. And I kind of like that in that sense of he was excited. Like,
exactly. I was 50-50 with him just because he was just like an inch away from telling everyone, "Hey, Peter, Spider-Man!"
Yeah. What did you do?
So cool.
Imagine Gaja. Like, imagine you tell Gaja you're Spider-Man. Gaja would be like, "Shit."
Fuck no. That's like telling me you killed somebody. Like, I don't hear that shit.
Seriously, I mean, you saw how like in that one scene where
I got drugged to the friends, man. I claim a Spider-Man.
You saw that one scene where in the gym and Liz is like, "Oh, I think Spider-Man's really cool," and then Ned's just like, "Hey, Peter, no Spider-Man." Peter's like, "What the heck is wrong with you?" He's trying to help
this boy out, man. Like, that was the same thing. Like, yeah,
I know, but seriously, like that could have serious repercussions. Like, he asked him not to tell anyone, and the first thing he's like, "Hey, Peter, no Spider-Man."
Yeah, but he also told Spider-Man, I cannot hold this fucking secret. I gotta literally tell everybody.
No, that screwed him over in the long run because after Liz found out that, oh, Peter knows Spider-Man, she told freaking her father. And that's how all the events happened was because Ned told everyone, "Hey, Peter knows Spider-Man."
Yeah, but I don't know. I kind of like that because at the end of the day, like, and what I like this movie did, like, more than almost any kind of movie with kids, is show that they're kids. Like, if I was 15 years old and I knew my buddy was Spider-Man, I would probably have a tough time keeping the secret.
Oh, then you're fucked up then.
Nick, Ned is the Jar Jar Binks.
No, okay.
No.
When you think about it, Jar Jar Binks is the whole reason the Empire exists.
That's Spider-Man.
That is so different.
That's one fucking point, but I'm not giving you Jar Jar.
No, like he might be a moron, but he's not to the level of Jar Jar Binks. You know what? He actually was useful.
I love Spider-Man: Homecoming, and I disagree with what you said about Ned and what you said about the reveal and all that with the Vulture. I thought that all the characters were awesome, and I think they said this in the Double Toasted review. The Vulture's like reason to be pissed was fucking amazing, and then just like fucking with finesse sprinkling that shit on that it was the dad of that girl. That was like, yes, like this is like some like human drama, and that's what Spider-Man's all about. Like, Spider-Man isn't about fucking the blue fucking what's it called, laser coming out of the sky. He's about, oh my god, my girlfriend's dad hates me, like that's what Spider-Man should be about. So like I dug the fuck out of it. And Ned, I never was annoyed. I thought that he was super well written, and like I like want to echo everything you guys are saying about how it's like, oh man, my
Oh well, that's
He hyped himself out
That's
the
what I'm
internet.
saying. His mic fell off.
See? Okay, never mind. Instead of Roger, imagine Julian
just
Sunny as your
collapse.
buddy Spider-Man.
Like the way that he like was just excited about just being that guy that helped Spider-Man. I thought that was perfect because Spider-Man was excited about being Spider-Man. If Ned was like, dude, that's gay. Can you take off those tights? The movie over. Okay.
Well, no, that's what happened if Nick found out his buddy was Spider-Man.
You know what would have happened, and this is the thing that bothers me so much, is like all he had to do is just be like, "Oh man, you're Spider-Man, that's cool." Anyways, let's get into these other situations where maybe somehow, some other way you find out, or that girl Liz will
That's
find
like
out.
someone telling you they have a 3-foot-long dick. You're gonna want to see it. Like
No,
what
I'm
is-
gonna
I
take
was gonna go back to that with you. Like,
No, Julian, speak for yourself. I'd be like, you know what?
I
I
know
don't
it's
speak
too
for all men.
dude,
Have
I
you
know
not
it's
gotten
2017
any
and
Is that
gayness
the
is cool, but god damn it, Julian. Like,
I'm sorry, Julian.
to be-
you walked
to
on
be
a
fair-
landmine and we're just watching like the carnage, man.
Cornbread, don't betray me.
No, I'm not gonna betray you. I'm just gonna say, like, to be fair, like with Ned's character, he was kind of like that white kid from Static Shock, because they were always like, hey, let's use your powers to like up our popularity. Like, let's do something so that we can both look good in this situation.
I saw someone pointed out that that character Ned reminded them of the kid in the chair from Kim Possible, and I thought that was like a perfect comparison.
Yeah.
And I think
Wade.
that makes the character even better because I bet you Ned has all of Kim Possible on DVD.
No, it's one of those things, and it's starting to bug me a little bit as a cliche in superheroes of, okay, we got the superhero, and then we got the motherfucker in the chair. They make the joke.
No, yeah, they make the joke.
They make the joke in the movie.
I
where it's
like that,
everybody.
though.
I have expected him to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be like that guy in the chair, like, you know that guy with the ears and the girl that can't walk. Like, I have expected the reference Batman in this movie.
I kinda like that they have to have this Scream approach to these superhero movies now, where it's like they're self-aware of like how this shit goes. Like that.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like
they
it's
read
a little too
comics and
cliche
shit.
for me at this point.
It doesn't feel like a
Like, I can't wait for Black Panther to have a guy in the chair. I'm like, oh, Black Panther, do
By
this,
the
do
way,
that.
having a character like Ned, though, it just kind of like really grounded the movie and made it like everyone feel more human. Like having that scene of someone with no powers wear the Spider-Man mask and be just amazed by it. That's really good character development.
That
to
actually,
me,
you
I
do
felt
that, but you
that
can
was-
also, keep it held back. Like, you don't have to go to an extreme of like he's so excited that he's fucking retarded. And
but
he
dude, he's
almost,
a
like,
kid though. He's
No,
literally
even-
like a 15-year-old kid.
I
Even a kid, he was playing it more like the nerdy kid. He wasn't feeling more amazed. It was just like this ADD excitement, like, oh my god, Spider-Man vision!
No, like, dude, like, literally, I've been around some fucked up kids, and we did some fucked up shit when I was like 8 to 12.
Yeah, but were you Spider-Man?
And I
though?
never told anybody.
Yeah, but were you Spider-Man though?
Not yet.
I seen a motherfucker climb up a wall. He was called Carlos.
That's how he got here, is my classmate.
I'm glad you guys brought up the mask because I think this is my only legitimate criticism of the movie. Is I don't like how much equipment and how much tech is in his suit. Because it's like he has all this like, oh man, the web shooters he makes. And then he has all this, like, the combos, like he's in Injustice too. He has all these combos he can do on his fucking web shooters. Then he has the eyes with the, he can see through walls. He can hear dialogue. I'm like, if I got the Spider-Man costume, could I be Spider-Man?
No, like part of that I agree with, but most of it, like web shooter combinations, he's always been able to do that. He's always had some sort of tech to implement. Like I remember it was one, I think, cartoon where he could press his fingers against a wall and hear what they're saying on the other side of the glass. But I fucking hate that AI. That AI needs to fucking go because she was my only thing I hated about the other Homecoming. I hated her ass.
Yeah.
I hated that AI. That felt
Only
way
one who
too
liked
Iron
the
Man.
AI, and Rashad, you're an OG Spider-Man fan, I assume. So you appreciate that. If the AI was Bruce Campbell and it fucked with him the whole time, like
That's the only reason I would have.
Yes, it needs to be Bruce Campbell.
That would be awesome.
I gotta be
Yeah, I
honest,
would've
Andre,
loved
like
it.
that would have been the coolest fucking thing.
Like, if he would turn around, okay, kid, I know you're not supposed to access these levels. You don't know these shooters. What the fuck is going on?
And one thing that bothers me, he still has not made a spider boat yet. Why is that not in the live-action movies
I'll
yet?
fucking choke you if they
Make
make
a
a
boat out of webs.
I am going to see you in 2 months. Don't
Alex-
make my wrath upon you.
Too much.
Complaining that he has too many
Shut
abilities,
up.
but you're mad he didn't make a boat out of webs? Is
Dude,
that
he
what I
made a
just heard?
parachute. He had a parachute, but it was not made out of webs. That is my problem with the Spider-Man live-action movies. They don't go stupid enough with his web powers.
The parachute is the closest that you will
Alan,
get.
I'm sorry, I gotta be man. No one makes me get on Julian's side, but holy fuck. God damn.
Could you imagine Tom Holland making a boat out of webs and it being serious? Like, I would laugh my ass off, and I'd be the happiest man on earth if they did that.
I'm really excited at the fact that Aunt May knows he's Spider-Man
Yes.
now.
Oh, that's gonna be weird.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like it because literally, I mean, I know it's a thing now in the MCU that no one has a secret identity anymore except like Spider-Man with like a few people. But that was the best way to end the movie, right there with that panning shot where you see her in the
Oh, God. Can we point out that Spider-Man is terrible with his powers? Because this is the second time in the exact same situation he got caught being Spider-Man. How are you this bad at it?
Well,
Spider sense is a weak.
not being that.
Well, to be fair, he did. When he came into his apartment, he was like, Aunt May, are you here?
Yeah.
She wasn't there, so.
Oh no, she was there. She was just occupied.
I kind of agree with Alan only in the sense that there isn't a lot of big surprises or big things, but the one genuine surprise I had was the moment where I realized, oh wait, Gwyneth Paltrow is in this movie, where she just shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Hey, they finally, man. She finally crawled back and said, "Okay, I'll be in these movies again."
I know, and I was just like, oh wait, now they're gonna get married? What? That was the one that got me really off guard.
And it's just throwaway. Like no one was really supposed to talk about it. I was like, yeah, I guess we're gonna get married.
In the last movie, weren't they all like, hey, Pepper and I are taking a break? Like, what?
Well, what happened was Gwyneth Paltrow straight up just didn't want to be in these movies anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they're like, it's like, you have nothing else going in your life. Here's like a little bit of money, come back.
I give it a full price. I thought it was really competent. I liked what I saw. I mean, Michael Keaton's in it, so I was always going to be positive on it for that reason. But it was Michael Keaton getting to really do what I have seen him do and always be just a little bit different than you expect him to show up as. So I like that. I definitely like that Tony wasn't everywhere in the movie, and that really helped me give it a better rating because I think if they'd have put as much Tony in the movie as he was in the trailer, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much.
They played with him so nicely in the movie. Like whenever he showed up, it was like, ooh, that's nicely done.
Yeah. So I like that. I really don't. I have. This is weird for me to say because I really don't like Zendaya, but I have nothing but positive things to say about this movie. Other than the stuff that people have said already that were problems. Yeah, there were problems, but they didn't take the movie down too much. So full price.
Like to me, like the biggest thing, like I know like Marvel movies get like complaints and like shit and like all that, and they're pretty much like founded. But the one thing they do better to me than anyone, like any of the other like comic book movies lately, you have to sell people on the character. And lately, Spider-Man really hasn't been sold too well on his character, especially Amazing Spider-Man. That was mostly about Sony trying to do spectacle rather than trying to like do anything new with the character. They tried, but it was bullshit. But with Marvel getting it back and doing Homecoming, they really fucking sold Peter Parker. Like, he's a kid that fucks up, but he's trying to do it right. That scene, I'm not sure if you all talked about it, like where he's trapped under the rubble.
Oh,
he has to get himself out. That one scene alone sold me on him as a character, as Peter Parker. And, like, that is what I've been waiting to see as Spider-Man, like, my entire life, just to see on screen. And I love the movie for that. Like, they sold the character, so I give it a full price.
Like I like that too. Like I like.
Man, don't.
No, I didn't even notice it, dude. I did not even notice it. But Alex said that shit in the chat, and I was shut up.
This movie was like on the verge of a better than sex. I don't know if you guys have made any comments on like some of the technical problems, at least that I saw.
The CGI
like
was
the movie.
fucking not great.
I don't know, man. I don't remember. I don't think
there's two things that stand out to me. The beginning, we all agree that CGI is kind of in some places, like it looks kind of funky. But at one point, the lighting was super fucked up when he was crawling on the ceiling. It's like, why does he have a shadow when the light on the ceiling is right above him? Like, what the fuck? That makes no sense.
Okay.
Like, he's climbing on the wall and there was like a shadow of him. It was just like, it looked kind of weird. That and like the technical stuff. But other than that, like, I love that the movie started with Spider-Man's Snapchat story. I thought that was really clever. I think that the way that Spider-Man's story echoes Iron Man is going to build like a really cool father-son relationship between them. Like, it already came across in the trailer like that when they had that moment. It's like, I'm opening the door. It's not a hug. Fuck off. Unless your aunt wants me. But other than that, like, it is a full price. I'd want to give it better than sex so bad because it was so fucking fun and it was hilarious in a lot of parts. but just the technical, like, it could have been so much better. I think just a couple more renders, but yeah.
Like I said, I don't think there's a single flaw in this movie. Like, I think this movie doesn't have anything that this isn't a Man of Steel situation where I just started screaming at the end. Like, there's nothing bad in this movie or a flaw that needs to be fixed. But it also has a situation in which there's nothing stood out as spectacular. Like Rashad mentioned that scene of the him being kind of almost crushed by the stuff, and that was probably my favorite scene in the entire movie. And it was great, but it's one of those things where it's like Spider-Man himself as a character is great, and he's great when they're talking and their dialogue. But all the action scenes to me felt like spectacle action of him kind of punching or him using his webs, and I'm like I'm kind of used to Spider-Man fighting henchmen and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I kind of have to give this movie a matinee, only because there's nothing that really blew me away as far as like. Nothing to me that can come out as memorable besides some of the dialogue. So that's the only reason I'd give it a matinee.